Hi, I'm retired, and most of the time I live oceanfront on $1,500 a month. And I still have money left at the end of the month. And stay with me in this video and I will show you how I do it. This video is for people living in the United States and or Canada who are deeply concerned about the cost of living, especially if you are retired. Retirees are living well on less outside of their main country. And this video will show you and share with you information on how we do that. Also, this video is good for digital nomads who are looking for low cost of living. And if you click the link up in the top, after you watch the video, you will find different locations around the world where you can stay for 6 months or more just using your U.S. passport. Now, many of us on this slow travel road, we are not seeking residency in another country. We are slow traveling and we stay as long as our passport, our U.S. passport or Canadian passport will allow us to stay in a destination. And I'm going to explain the details on how you can do that for under $1,500 a month. Are you ready? Let's get to it. Right now, I'm in an oceanfront apartment hotel overlooking the Black Sea in the city of Batumi, which is in Georgia. No, not Atlanta, Georgia in the United States, but Georgia in Eurasia. My monthly rent ranges around $350 to $500 per month during the off season. Now these rents, some of them go up during peak season, but basically the average rent here in this area is $350 to $700 depending on the season. Now what's included in my setup is Wi-Fi, a kitchen, a washing machine, a view, a beautiful view, and all of this is very, very affordable. Now when I said that this is an apartment hotel, that's exactly what I meant. It's a very, very large apartment complex. There's 2 of them. And in the building that I am in, there is over 40 floors. I am on the 38th floor, so the view is magnificent. And my average rent is under $500, including my water and my electricity. Now, let's break down my monthly budget here in Batumi, Georgia. My rent is between $400 and $700, and I say that because at the end of my term here in this Airbnb, I'm going to move to another hotel apartment, and my rent is still within that range, and it will include my breakfast each morning. My food costs, because I do prepare most of my meals, is between $200 and $300, and I shop where the locals shop. Now my transportation cost is not between $50 and $100, and the reason is because it is not that high, is because I always try to rent properties that have supermarkets, banks, etc., within walking distance. Now, if I need to go somewhere that is over 2 or 3 miles, then I will take an Uber or a cab. So my transportation cost is very low. When I'm in Latin America, it's so cheap to get on a bus that it's unbelievable. But when I'm in Brazil, I never catch the bus in Brazil because the U.S. State Department says that U.S. citizens should not get on buses or take the public transportation in Brazil. So that's only for certain areas, but I just use it as a blanket recommendation. Now my music and entertainment, that's affordable because my entertainment includes my streaming for Netflix, and if I buy movies from Amazon, or if I go out to a club, a jazz club, or if I go for a show, because this particular city is full of gambling casinos and magnificent hotels that have live shows. So that price can add up. Now, each month I have to save money for my flight that will take off or depart in 3 months, 30 days, 6 months in some countries, or for a whole year. Because I'm here in Georgia, they allow U.S. citizens to stay here for a whole year. Here's the secret. You keep your destinations close together, country to country, so that your airfare is less than $400 or $500 to go from point A to point B. That's the secret in traveling the world slowly on a budget of $1,500 a month. Now, the other thing is that I rarely get to stay in Mexico or even the Caribbean because the rents are too high for my budget. Now, what I can do, because my budget is much lower in other areas, is I can save in each month towards being able to pay rent for my Dominican Republic when I go there, or when I go to Mexico and I want to overlook the sea in Puerto Vallarta. Now, the other thing that's not on the list that should be on the list is travel medical insurance. Now, this can be very, very expensive for seniors. I used this site to compare travel medical insurance. Now, what most of us do is we pay for our doctor visits out of pocket. And that's because the cost to see the doctor is so low and the medication is so low, the cost, that we can afford to do that from our emergency funds. But if we run into a major illness and we need to travel back to our home country, which could cost anywhere from $25,000 to $75,000, depending on where you are when your medical emergency happens, that could ruin you financially. When you buy your travel medical insurance, you don't pay for it for the whole year because it would be way too expensive. You pay for it for 30 days because you're going to be here for 30 days. Then you go back to the website and you pay for it for 90 days because you're going to be here for 90 days. Or if you're going to be in a place like I'm here in Georgia, where I'm staying almost 9 months, I'm not going to pay travel medical insurance for the whole 9 months. What I'm going to do is each time I move from one Airbnb to another, then I renew the insurance. And it's it's less expensive that way, and I can afford it. But the thing is I don't want the insurance. The insurance is not to see the doctor or for this tummy ache or for a toothache, or it's not for that. It's only for medevac. If you need to travel from point A to point B to get back to your home country for a medical emergency. That is the secret. Travel medical insurance with medevac. You pay for each portion of your trip, not everything all at one time. You keep the destinations, between destinations, closer together so that the airfare is under $400 to $500. 3, we already discussed that you prepare your own meals. That doesn't mean you can't eat out, because you can. If your budget, and most of your budgets are far more than $1,500 a month. And yet, okay, let's talk about how I maintain a $1,500 a month budget. I think it's important to point out what I do not have to pay each month. I don't have a car payment. I don't have car insurance. I don't have a mortgage. I don't have property taxes. And basically, I pay no utilities because I rent through Airbnb, and all of the utilities, including the Wi-Fi, are included in the cost. But this is the key. The places that I am living or staying are low cost of living destinations. high quality of life, but low cost of living, especially compared to the United States. Now you may be asking yourself, well, where do I start? I have written 2 books to help you get started. One is called Hotel Retirement, which you can watch the video immediately after watching this video. And another is How I Travel the World on Social Security. And both of these books go into details about how you can get started and have less stress about the process. Thank you for watching.